Business is always open.
Level 1, the associate. You're 18 years old. You're standing on a cracked sidewalk in Little Italy, hands jammed deep into your pockets to hide the shivering. The air is thick with the smell of exhaust and the scent of expensive cigars drifting from the social club across the street. You aren't allowed inside. To the men in that room, you're just part of the furniture. Your job is simple. Be useful. You get the coffee. You wash the black Cadillacs until the hubcaps shine like mirrors. You stand in the biting wind for 7 hours just to watch for a specific license plate. You make $200 a week in crumpled bills. It's scraps, but it's enough to keep you hungry. The made men walk past you like you're invisible. They have the silk suits, the gold rings, and the kind of silence that commands a room. You have a damp hoodie and a sense of desperation. You're learning the rules of the pavement. Never look a Capo in the eye, never ask questions about the packages you carry, and never acknowledge the men with the badges and the clean shaves. You're a nobody, waiting for a chance to prove you have a heart of stone. One mistake, and you're forgotten. One success, and the door might finally open. Level 2, the made man. You've done the one thing you can't take back. You've shed blood for the family, and now, in this cold basement, you're being reborn. You hold a burning picture of a saint in your cupped hands. As the flame stings your palms, you recite the oath. May I burn like this saint if I betray my brothers. You are now a soldier. You are made. The errant boy is dead. Now you have a crew. You have a reputation. When you walk into the social club, the door stays open for you. You get a seat at the back table. You make $2,000 a week now, but half of it goes up the chain to your capo. That's the cost of protection. Your job is the heavy lifting. You're the one who visits the warehouse at midnight to ensure the shipment arrived. You're the one who sits in the stolen car with a silenced .22 in your lap, waiting for a rival who crossed the line. You don't feel the adrenaline anymore. You feel the weight. You're bound by omerta, the code of silence. It's a beautiful word that means if the feds pick you up, you forget how to speak. If you talk, you're a ghost. If you stay quiet, you're a hero. You have a gold pinky ring and a life sentence hanging over your head like a guillotine. You've traded your soul for a seat at the table, and for the first time you realize the table is bolted to the floor. Level 3, the enforcer. You aren't just a soldier anymore. You're the message. When a bookie falls behind on his points, or when an associate thinks he can skim 5% off the top, the family doesn't send a lawyer. They send you. Your office is the back of a refrigerated truck or a deserted construction site at 3 a.m. Your tools are primitive but effective. A lead pipe, a roll of heavy-duty duct tape, and a silence that is louder than any scream. You don't enjoy the violence. Pleasure is for amateurs. For you, it's a surgical necessity. You know exactly how much pressure it takes to shatter a kneecap without ending the conversation. You're making $5,000 a week in dirty cash. You've moved out of the old neighborhood into a high-rise apartment, but you never sit with your back to the window. The pay is high, but the danger tax is higher. You're the first person the detectives look for when a car explodes or a body is found in the marshes. You've become a specialist in fear. You burn your clothes in a steel drum after every job. You wear surgical gloves under your leather ones. You're living in a state of high-frequency vibration, waiting for the moment the police break down your door or a rival's bullet finds your neck. You have respect now, but it's the kind of respect built on a foundation of broken bone. You are the family's teeth, and the teeth are always the first to get knocked out. Level 4, the earner. You've traded your baseball bat for a calculator. The boss has noticed you don't just have a stomach for violence, you have a head for numbers. You aren't cleaning up messes anymore. You're creating profits. You've moved from the muscle to the brain. Your job is the invisible empire. You manage the offshore gambling servers, the high-interest loan books, and the no-show union jobs at the city's biggest construction sites. You make the city run, and the city pays you a tax for every brick laid and every bed placed. You're clearing $15,000 a week, but you can't buy a sandwich without wondering if the bills are marked. This is competence porn. You see the cracks in the legal system and the greed in the local politicians' eyes. You aren't just a gangster, you're a venture capitalist of the underworld. You bribe the city planners and the port authorities. You own car washes and luxury pizzerias to wash the blood off your cash. But the danger has shifted. You aren't worried about a knife in an alley anymore. You're worried about an accountant with a conscience. The IRS is the family's greatest enemy, and the RICO Act is a monster that eats earners for breakfast. Every time you sign a fraudulent document, you're handing the FBI a rope to hang you with. You've moved from the street corner to the boardroom, but the boardroom is built over a trap door. Level 5. The Capo regime. You've graduated from the street to the throne of your own small kingdom. You are a capo, a captain. You no longer get your hands dirty with blood or grease. You manage a crew of 10 to 15 soldiers, and their lives belong to you. Your job is management, mediation, and most importantly, the kick-up. Every Tuesday is envelope day. Your soldiers line up outside your social club like parishioners at a confessional. They hand you thick stacks of cash. Their tribute for the privilege of operating in your territory. You take your 30%, then you send the rest up the ladder to the underboss. You're pulling in $50,000 to $100,000 a month. You own the local police captain, 3 city councilmen, and a judge who likes to play high-stakes poker in your basement. But being a capo means you are a buffer. If a soldier gets sloppy and kills a civilian, it's your head on the block. If your crew's numbers drop, the Don starts asking questions that end with a shallow grave. You spend your days settling beefs between hot-headed soldiers who want to kill each other over a parking spot or a woman. You have to be the diplomat, the judge, and the executioner all at once. The danger is now 3-dimensional. You're looking down at the young soldiers who want your seat, looking sideways at the rival capos who want your rackets, and looking up at the boss who might decide you're becoming too powerful to trust. Your phone is a landmine. Your car is a potential coffin. You have the respect of the entire neighborhood, but you haven't slept through the night in 3 years. You're a king of the sidewalk, but every king eventually faces a coup. Level 6, the underboss. You've moved into the stratosphere of the underworld. You aren't a captain anymore. You are the gatekeeper. No one speaks to the Don without whispering in your ear first. You are the insulation, the firebreak between the street and the throne. Your job is to make the impossible decision so the boss can keep his hands clean and his conscience clear. You manage the entire architecture of the family. When a capo is suspected of skimming, you are the one who signs the death warrant. When a multi-million-dollar drug shipment is seized at the docks, you are the one who interrogates the port authority contacts to find the leak. You're pulling in $200,000 a month personally. You've moved your family to a gated community 2 counties away, living under an assumed name. To your neighbors, you're a retired hedge fund manager. To the city, you are a ghost. But the air at this altitude is thin. You are now the ultimate prize for the Justice Department. The FBI doesn't want the earners or the muscle. They want you, because you know exactly where the bodies are buried and whose pockets are lined. You live in a world of high-definition paranoia. You sweep your home for bugs every 48 hours. You communicate through human couriers who aren't even told your real name. And then there's the Don. He's getting old, his mind is fraying, and his paranoia is turning inward. He looks at you and sees a successor. And in this world, a successor is a threat. You spend your nights wondering if the man you've protected for 20 years has already assigned a hit team to your driveway. You have more power than 99% of the city, but you're a prisoner of your own rank. You are the shadow, and shadows disappear the moment the lights go out. Level 7, the Dawn. You are the summit, the boss of bosses. You've outlived the rivals, the detectives, and the traitors. Your word is the invisible law that governs the city's heart. You move $1 billion a year through a network of rackets that spans the country. You own the ports, the unions, and the politicians in 3 states. But look at you. You live in a $10 million fortress, yet you haven't stepped into the sunlight in months. You're worth an untouchable fortune, but you eat canned soup because you don't trust your own chef. The FBI has a 24-hour surveillance post in the house across the street. Every word you speak is recorded, so you've learned the art of absolute silence. You communicate through nods, shrugs, and hand signals. You are the most powerful man in the state, and the most isolated. Your friends are all dead or in federal prison. Your children are strangers, hidden away for their own safety, using names you didn't give them. You spend your nights in a dimly lit library, listening to the ticking of a clock, waiting for the one sound you fear most, the heavy boots of a tactical team. You've built an empire of blood and shadow, and now the shadow is all that's left. You are the king, but your throne is a golden cage, and the bars are made of your own history. Level 8, the concrete tomb. It happened at 5 a.m. on a Tuesday. Not a bullet, but a battering ram. The underboss flipped, the ledgers were seized, and the Rico case was airtight. The silk suits are gone. The gold ring is sitting in an evidence locker. You've traded your $10 million mansion for a 6 by 9 foot box of cold concrete. You aren't the Don anymore. You're inmate number 88021. 23 hours a day in absolute isolation. The only sound is the hum of the ventilation and the distant rhythmic banging of a cup against steel bars. There are no more envelopes, no more bodyguards, no more respect. Here, the guards don't care about your history, and the other inmates only want your shoes. You have the rest of your life, 30 years to life, no parole, to stare at these 4 walls and think about every man you buried to get here. You own the city, but now you don't even own the light switch in your room. Level 9. The Cycle. You are a ghost story now. A cautionary tale whispered in the back of a van or a name buried in a dusty FBI file. You are gone, but the vacancy was filled before your cell door even clicked shut. Back on that same corner, there's a new kid. He's 15, sitting on a crate, watching the road. He sees the black SUVs and the men with the silence that commands the street. He wants the suit. He wants the ring. He doesn't see the concrete tomb, he only sees the crown. The names change, the faces fade, but the outline is permanent. This isn't just a life, it's a business, and business is always open.